Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning. It's a little after 8:30 Eastern Time, which would be about 12:30 UTC. And this morning, like I usually do, I check into one of my MCOM nets. I do that every once a month when I'm camping because it gives the MCOM group an opportunity to work a portable station and see what it's like to hear somebody working with reduced power and a smaller than usual antenna. I'm not going to say it's a compromised antenna because it's not. It does what it's intended to do, and it does it very well. So it's just a portable antenna. This morning I got back on POTA again, doing search and pounce using the FT-710. I do it for a couple of reasons. One, I want to see how the radio works when working with QRM and QRN, and I want to work other stations that are operating portable, usually with less power, smaller antennas. And that's really a good test for the FT-710, any radio really. I can sit there and park myself on a frequency and call CQ POTA, and I'll get the big gun stations. And what I mean by a big gun station is a guy working from home with a full-size antenna, probably running 100 watts or better. And so that's not really a good test for the radio. It's being able to pull out the so-called weak ones, which may be somebody only operating 40 or 50 watts, in some cases only 5 watts. A lot of these guys go out and they operate QRP. And so by taking the FT10 out and chasing other POTA activators, I'm getting a better feel for how the radio works. And band conditions today are better than they were yesterday. There's a lot less noise. Right now I'm on 20 meters. I'm leaning over to look at my radio, and I've got what looks like about an S3, S2 noise level, whereas last night and yesterday it was S7 to S9. So hopefully things will be better today. I am going to do a little more search and pouncing. I may decide to, camp on one frequency for a while, but I really excuse me, I really want to, test the radio and its ability to work the weaker stations. And it's doing quite well. No surprises. It's doing as well as my 7300, which is what I expect for this radio. And so I keep comparing them, and really they're really kind of an apples to apples. Each one has their quirks and each one has their benefits. I think at the end of the day, though, they both do the same job at about the same level of performance. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you are a Yaesu guy and you are married to Yaesu, and that's your brand, get the FT-710. If you're an ICOM guy and you're married to ICOM, get the IC7300. They both will do about the same job. I have, for HF radios, I have 2 Yaesus. I have this one and the FTDX10. And with the ICOMs, I have the 7300 and the 7610. So I have both of them and I use both of them. And, when it comes to the 7300, the 710, they're both really about the same. I like using this radio. I call it a likable radio, because I kind of like it. It's got quirks, and if I had to pick one, I would pick the ICOM, and I really am kind of an ICOM guy. I've owned more ICOM radios than I've owned Yaesu, and I've owned other Yaesu radios. I used to have an FTDX3000, and before that I had an FT950, and then somewhere way back when I had a FT-817. I think it was the ND. So I've had Yaesu radios on and off over the years. I've had a Yaesu Handy Talkie. I've had some Yaesu VHF, UHF mobiles. And so I have used Yaesu. But for me, the features that the 7300 has, especially the way it integrates with my LDG tuners, the way I can look at my quick memory banks and I can edit those, the filtering is a little bit easier to use. Some of the controls are easier to get to. So, yeah, but I still like the FT-710. It's a fun little radio. You know, if I had to take it with me on a disaster, like I said, I do MCOM and FUNCOM. I wouldn't have any problems taking the 710. In fact, if I was really going to an actual disaster, I would bring both the 710 and the 7300. One backs up the other, and you know, so far, am I going to sell the FT-710? No. This may be my last review on it because this is the real test. I typically use CW and FT8 when I'm on the air. That's what I like to do. Now this morning I did get on phone because my check-in, my check-ins for my MCOM net is phone and CW. And I got good signal reports. I brought this thing down to like 15, 25 watts, and they heard me just fine. The audio was fine. One feature I do like about the FT-710 and the AC radios in general is that you can transmit CW while you are in sideband, lower sideband or upper sideband. There's a menu item that you can select that while you're on a phone net, while you're on phone, that if you send CW, it will let you do that. The ICOMs do not have that. I have to go in and change the mode on the ICOMs to send CW. So I kind of like the idea of being able to, hit CW, because we do phone check-ins, and then we also do CW check-ins, and it's nice that I don't have to switch over. I can just grab the paddles and do that. So they're both good radios. They really are. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to do some more searching and pouncing. Again, this is a kind of a relaxed weekend for me. I'm not hitting it hard like I have been with digital modes. The FT-710 passed the digital test, so to speak, and so far it's passing the CW test. And again, it's a good radio. Now I am using headphones today, and one annoyance that I do have with the 710 is I was getting a clicking noise, almost sound like a relay through my headphones. It's a little bit annoying, but it's am I going to sell it because of that? No, it's still a good radio. So anyhow, that's it for now. I know this video is going to go long, but I'm kind of wrapping up the review of the 710. I run it pretty hard at home and here, and it's passing all the tests. So I'll get back to you later. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. It's still a good morning. It's about 20 to 12 here, and I'm still working POTA over the weekend. I'm still at the James H. Sloppy Floyd State Park. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But this trip, I really wanted to take the 710 and really work it with CW. And my original thought was I was going to camp on a frequency and then just work it as an activator. However, the bands are not in that good a shape, and so I decided to go into search and pounce mode because, like I said earlier, it gives me an opportunity to work other not so great stations, so to speak. I worked a lot of stations. A lot of their signals were down in the noise. My S meter was not moving at all. I had to turn the volume up to hear the station, but I was able to work them. I was able to hear them, and I was able to work them. And that's really what I wanted to talk about briefly, was the receiver. This is a very good receiver. Again, you have to know how to use it. Keep away from preamp on the lower bands, like 30 and below. Attenuator when necessary. RF gain is your friend. Crank a little bit of that in, and you'd be surprised what you can pull out. The filters are nice. I think I'm running anywhere between like 200 to 500 or 600 hertz on the filters. The band spread, and it's doing well. Like I said, I got to work a lot of stations that I'm not sure other radios would have been able to copy. It's at least on par with my 7300, maybe a little bit better, it all depends on these. But I was pretty impressed that I was able to work the stations I worked with this radio, and the band conditions, as bad as they are. Like I said, there are times when I was able to copy a station 100%. The S meter was not moving at all, and I had to turn the volume up just to be able to hear the station, but I could pick them out and I could work them. So like I said, it's a good radio. I'm enjoying using it. It's a likable radio. It's a lot of fun. It's doing its job, and I just really wanted to, really trying to wrap up the review portion of the 710, because I've been doing it for a couple months now, and I've worked everything that I like to work, and it's fine. Last weekend I gave it a hard run on FT-8. I ran it for 12 hours at 45 watts at 80% duty cycle. Didn't even breathe heavy, didn't get warm, anything. It worked real well. This weekend I'm working CW. Like I said, I'm doing search and pounce just because I want to work the weaker stations and see if I can pull them in, and it's doing a good job. Am I working all the stations? No, because there are some that I can't hear. But if I can hear them, even if it's faint, I can work them. And so it's been a good experience. I'm going to operate for another couple hours and maybe call it a day. I said band conditions are not good for anybody anywhere, I don't think. People that I should normally hear, I can't hear. I'm not getting any DX in. I usually get a little bit of DX, or at least to the West Coast. Very rare there. It's the bands, but the radio is doing its job. And so, other than the quirkiness of the Yaesu itself, one thing I don't like about this radio is when you use the clarifier. If you use the clarifier with the Yaesu, it uses the main tuning dial to set your clarifier, either transmit, receive, or both. But you can't use the main tuning dial to tune if you want to change frequency. So you have to go in, set the clarifier, use it, and then get back out of the clarifier to change the frequencies using the main tuning dial. With the ICOMs, they have a separate knob for your clarifier, and you can still move. In other words, I can set it. My transmit. So I usually set the transmit clarifier. I can set the transmit clarifier, and then I can leave it there, and I can tune around all I want on the 7300 without having to touch it again until I want to get rid of it or change the offset. Like I said, little niggles, nothing, nothing that says, oh, don't buy this radio. No, buy the radio. Especially if you're a Yaesu guy, buy the radio. It's a good radio. My intentions are to keep it, because it's fun, and I enjoy it. So, anyhow, just wrapping that up. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry, but I'm really trying to get things, taken care of with the 710 so I can move on to other things and do other stuff for you guys. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for supporting my channel, and no money involved, just show up, and enjoy this channel, enjoy my blog, kk4z.com. I put a lot of stuff out there, just a lot of hints and kinks and things I build, things I do, just to help everybody get a little bit better with their amateur radio craft. Really what I'm trying to do is inspire you guys to get out there and make your own stuff, do your own thing. I'm not saying copycat me. I mean, fine if you do, but don't copycat me. Just if it gives you an idea to do something else, then I've done my job. All right, everyone. Take care. 73s. This is Scott, KK4Z.